What if one wrong choice in intimacy could damage your heart, your relationship, and even your faith? Today, we're revealing 6 things every Christian must never do. Before it's too late, 6 things Christians should never do in intimacy. Watch this before it's too late. This title is carefully crafted to grab attention and communicate urgency. Right away, it promises a list of 6 specific things, not vague advice, but concrete actions or mistakes that can be avoided. The number 6 is precise, which makes the content feel structured and digestible. Next, it directly addresses Christians, which does 2 things. It targets a specific audience and signals that the advice will be faith-based, rooted in values and teachings familiar to them. By focusing on intimacy, the title touches on a sensitive and personal aspect of life, something many people feel curious about but hesitant to discuss openly. This creates a natural pull for viewers who want guidance but don't know where to turn. The phrase "should never do" adds a strong warning. It's not a gentle suggestion. It's a serious caution. The word never heightens the sense of importance, implying that ignoring these points could lead to significant consequences in one's personal, spiritual, or relational life. Then comes "watch this before it's too late." This part adds urgency. It suggests that the information is critical and time-sensitive, creating a subtle fear of missing out or regret if viewers don't act immediately. It makes the video feel essential, not optional. Finally, the title closes with biblical wisdom, which gives it authority and credibility. It reassures the viewer that the advice isn't just personal opinion, but is grounded in scripture and spiritual guidance. It promises insights that are trustworthy, meaningful, and aligned with Christian teachings. Altogether, the title works because it targets the right audience, creates curiosity, emphasizes urgency, and builds authority. It's a mix of emotional pull and logical promise. The viewer is curious about the 6 things, worried about consequences, and trusts that the guidance is spiritually sound. Intimacy is one of the most beautiful and sacred aspects of human life. It is where 2 souls connect, hearts intertwine, and trust is shared in its deepest form. For Christians, intimacy is not just a physical act. It is a reflection of God's design for love, respect, and unity. Yet, in today's fast-paced world, many believers find themselves unaware of the subtle but dangerous mistakes that can arise in intimate relationships. These mistakes can damage not only relationships, but also the spiritual and emotional well-being of those involved. In this keynote, we are going to explore 6 things Christians should never do in intimacy, grounded in biblical wisdom. This is not meant to scare you, but to guide you toward a relationship that honors God, respects yourself, and nurtures your partner. Watching this is crucial because understanding these principles early can prevent regret, heartbreak, and spiritual harm later. 1. Treating intimacy as a transaction or selfish act. One of the first dangers is approaching intimacy with selfish motives. Too often, intimacy is treated as a way to get personal satisfaction, validation, or control, rather than a shared connection built on love and mutual respect. The Bible teaches us that love is patient, kind, and selfless. 1 Corinthians 13:4-5. When intimacy becomes transactional, when it's about what I get rather than what I give, it erodes trust and damages the sacred bond God intended. Christians are called to view intimacy as a reflection of Christ's love, giving, nurturing, and protecting one another. 2. Ignoring emotional and spiritual boundaries. Intimacy is not just physical. It is emotional and spiritual. One of the biggest mistakes Christians can make is ignoring boundaries in these areas. Sharing your body without protecting your heart or soul can lead to vulnerability that is easily exploited. Proverbs 4:23 reminds us, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." This means intimacy must be rooted in respect, commitment, and discernment. Ignoring these boundaries opens the door to emotional pain, guilt, and spiritual disconnection. 3. Using intimacy to avoid problems. Sometimes, couples use physical closeness as a way to avoid dealing with deeper issues, arguments, mistrust, or personal insecurities. This is dangerous because it creates a false sense of connection while leaving the real problems unresolved. Hebrews 12:14 teaches that we should pursue peace and holiness in all areas of life. Intimacy should never become a mask for unresolved conflict or emotional baggage. True intimacy grows when couples face challenges together, communicate honestly, and seek God's guidance in their relationship. 4. Disregarding the sanctity of marriage for Christians. Intimacy outside of marriage carries serious spiritual implications. The Bible clearly defines sexual intimacy as a gift reserved for the covenant of marriage, Hebrews 13:4. Ignoring this divine boundary may lead to guilt, broken trust, and long-term emotional consequences. But beyond restriction, this teaching is meant to protect the sacredness of intimacy, making it a safe and fulfilling expression of love. Engaging in intimacy without honoring God's design diminishes its meaning and can distance believers from both spiritual and relational fulfillment. 5. Failing to communicate openly and honestly. Communication is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship, and intimacy amplifies this need. Christians often overlook how important it is to express desires, boundaries, fears, and emotions openly with their partner. Without honest dialogue, misunderstandings, resentment, and unmet needs grow. Ephesians 4:15 reminds us to speak the truth in love. Honest communication ensures that intimacy is a space of mutual respect and understanding, not one where silence and assumptions create harm. 6. Neglecting God in the relationship. Finally, perhaps the most critical mistake is leaving God out of the relationship entirely. Intimacy is not just a personal or emotional experience. It is spiritual. Couples who neglect prayer, biblical guidance, or God-centered discussion in their intimate life risk creating a connection that is shallow and temporary. When God is central, intimacy becomes more than physical. It becomes sacred, healing, and transformative. Couples who pray together, seek God's guidance, and honor His principles find that their bond deepens in ways that last a lifetime. Understanding these 6 points is essential for every Christian who desires intimacy that reflects God's love and wisdom. Ignoring them can lead to regret, emotional pain, spiritual disconnection, and broken relationships. But by embracing these principles, Christians can experience intimacy in a way that is fulfilling, holy, and aligned with their faith. Intimacy is not merely about closeness. It is about trust, respect, love, and sanctity. It is about entering a space where two people feel safe, valued, and spiritually connected. The Bible doesn't just give rules. It offers guidance that protects, nurtures, and elevates the human experience. By avoiding these 6 mistakes, believers can ensure their intimate lives are not a source of guilt or harm, but a reflection of God's divine design. In conclusion, intimacy is a gift, a sacred space where God's love can be reflected through our actions and our hearts. Christians are called to honor this gift, approach it with wisdom, and protect it from behaviors that are selfish, careless, or spiritually damaging. Remember, these 6 things are not just warnings. They are opportunities to build intimacy that is meaningful, joyful, and God-centered. Take this message to heart, reflect on your relationships, pray for guidance, and approach intimacy not as an act of desire alone, but as an expression of love that glorifies God, strengthens your bond, and preserves the sanctity of your soul. Watch, learn, and act before it's too late, because true intimacy, rooted in biblical wisdom, is one of life's most profound and lasting blessings. Intimacy is a sacred gift, designed by God to reflect love, trust, and unity between two people. It is not merely physical, it is emotional, spiritual, and deeply relational. For Christians, intimacy carries a responsibility, a call to honor God, respect oneself, and nurture the other person in a way that is pure, loving, and aligned with biblical principles. Yet, in today's world, many believers unknowingly make choices that can damage this sacred connection, leaving hearts wounded and souls unsettled. Today, we are going to explore 6 critical mistakes Christians must never make in intimacy. This is not just advice, it is protection, a guide to safeguard your heart, your relationship, and your spiritual life. 1. Treating intimacy as a casual or temporary pleasure. One of the most common mistakes is treating intimacy as a fleeting source of pleasure rather than a sacred act of love. In God's design, intimacy is not transactional or casual. It is meant to strengthen the bond between two people and reflect His love. When intimacy is pursued for personal satisfaction alone, without emotional depth or spiritual respect, it becomes shallow and can lead to regret. 1 Corinthians 6:18-20 reminds us that our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit. Treating intimacy carelessly disrespects not only your partner, but also the divine gift God has entrusted to you too. Ignoring emotional and spiritual depth, intimacy without emotional and spiritual connection is incomplete. Many Christians focus only on physical closeness, neglecting the deeper needs of their partner or themselves. This can lead to feelings of emptiness, misunderstanding, and disconnection. Proverbs 4:23 advises, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. When emotional and spiritual depth is ignored, intimacy becomes a temporary high rather than a lasting source of love, trust, and joy. True intimacy honors both heart and soul, creating a bond that is resilient and God-centered. 3. Using intimacy to escape problems. It is tempting to use intimacy as a distraction from conflict, stress, or unresolved issues in a relationship. While it may create a temporary sense of closeness, it never solves the underlying problems. Hebrews 12:14 urges us to pursue peace and holiness in every area of life. Using intimacy as a tool to avoid communication or confrontation can create a false sense of connection, which eventually leads to disappointment, mistrust, and emotional pain. Healthy intimacy thrives when challenges are addressed honestly, with openness, and with God guiding the relationship. 4. Engaging in intimacy outside God's design for Christians. God's design is clear. Sexual intimacy belongs within the covenant of marriage. Engaging in intimacy outside this sacred boundary can have lasting emotional, spiritual, and relational consequences. Hebrews 13:4 states, "Marriage should be honored by all, and the marriage bed kept pure." Observing God's design is not about restriction, it is about protection. It ensures that intimacy remains a safe, joyful, and deeply meaningful expression of love, rather than a source of guilt, regret, or relational harm. 5. Failing to communicate honestly and openly. Communication is essential for intimacy to thrive. Many Christians struggle to express their needs, desires, or concerns openly with their partner. This lack of communication can breed misunderstandings, unmet expectations, and emotional distance. Ephesians 4:15 reminds us to speak the truth in love. Honest dialogue fosters respect, trust, and a stronger emotional bond. Intimacy flourishes when both partners feel heard, valued, and understood, creating a relationship that is both safe and deeply connected. 6. Leaving God out of the relationship. The most critical mistake Christians can make is excluding God from their intimate relationship. Intimacy is not only physical, it is spiritual. Couples who neglect prayer, biblical guidance, and God-centered decision-making risk creating a relationship that is fragile and unsustainable. When God is at the center, intimacy becomes more than a fleeting experience. It transforms into a sacred act of love, respect, and mutual spiritual growth. Couples who pray together, seek God's guidance, and honor His principles in their intimate life experience a bond that is deep, lasting, and spiritually fulfilling. Remember, intimacy is a sacred gift, and the choices you make today will shape your heart, your relationship, and your faith for tomorrow. Guard it wisely, honor God in every step, and never forget these 6 warnings. If this video helped you, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe for more biblical wisdom that protects and guides your life. Stay blessed and stay faithful.